Well, it's that time again, and I know you love it, where I take a look at your art that you've submitted on my community tab and give you some helpful feedback and criticism to help you on your creative journey. Now, if you're wondering how can you get your art reviewed, that's real easy. Go to my YouTube channel, become a subscriber, go to the community tab and post your art and leave me just a little description there. Then at the end of the month, I kind of go through them, pick some of my favorite, and load them onto this very video here. Now, just to let you know, this month had the most submissions I've ever seen. So I'm gonna kind of boil it down to the best ways that I can help with some awesome quick tips and tricks that are really gonna help these artists here. Now on to the fantastic art. First up, we have Alice Baldadez, and I believe this painting is based on one of my tutorials, which you should check out. Now, Alice, the very first thing I noticed is your canvas in these particular spots, in fact, the entire canvas, is extremely dry. So I can't tell if this is acrylic paint or oil, but let's treat it as oil. You first want to cover the entire canvas in a very thin coat of liquid clear, because that's going to alleviate a lot of the issues you're having. Your clouds look very good on top of your highlights here, but the bottom portion is not dissipating out, creating these smooth transitions and gradients, which that liquid clear will immensely help with. Again, when you come down here to the bottom of your mountain, you will also be able to fade these out more perfectly down into your black gesso that you have down here, creating just this natural appearance that your mountain is piercing out of this black void. Really get into using very light touches and thin coats of liquid clear. Now your mountain shapes and structures, you know what, are not that bad. Great job on your highlight and shadow sides here. Bravo. But the one thing I think that would really help you a lot is if you continued some of these angles down through other parts of your mountain. This way it creates more layers and planes. And it's just easy. Just drop this a little bit more and then add your highlight side a little bit more down here. So that way it cuts off this mountain structure here. And then you can fade this down into nothing and it'll look more beautiful because you're creating more depth within your mountain. You can also do the same thing down here and right here. So that way it creates all these lines and structures. Speaking of lines, this is the only bad line, and I guess this one too. Even though this has a slight curve, it's still somewhat of a straight line, and this is very straight. Don't be afraid to break these lines up with a little bit of jags and drops and come back up, and then fade over and out, and then as you drop this line, this can go jaggy and across and out. Don't be afraid to have a shaky hand when you're dropping in your mountain structure. I do want to say, I love the textures on this painting and I love the multitude of colors that you have within it with the white, blues that are dark and light, and even the light little gray color that you got going on right here. I like this painting. Great job, and I'm glad I could help you out. Hey, Wild cutting in here real quick to tell you something really cool. I'm going to do for 2026, one of my goals is to do RAGBRAI. What's RAGBRAI? It's where I ride across the entire state of Iowa on my mountain bike, and I'm gonna document and paint some of the locations I visit. So I'm trying to raise funds, which means I'm not really looking for money from you. What you can do to help support me, watch my videos, and if you end up buying anything, use the links down in the video description because those do help me out, and I can put those funds towards some fun gear that I can use to make some awesome memories and some awesome videos on this channel. Will I make it? I'm not sure. It's 400 miles in 7 days. My butt is gonna kill me, but heck, I'm gonna give it a shot. Next up, we have Dale Cullen art, and we've got a beautiful autumn, let's just call it morning glow or sunset going on here. I love the magnitude of colors going on throughout it. The biggest issue that I see within yours, Dale, is it's going to sound weird. The balance between liquid white, the gesso base, and the absorption of your canvas is wreaking a little havoc because you have so much different splotchy marks of paint that are kind of not naturally blending well for you and are probably causing you a little bit of headache that you're having in these particular spots right here. So what I'd recommend is when you buy your canvas, put an extra layer of gesso on there, then a nice thin layer of liquid white. Then when you really start to blend in things like your background colors here, particular sky, and your water down here, I want you to spend extra time and really blend those in. Then take a clean and dry 2-inch brush and really work these back and forth in parallel motions and work it down into the gradient of whichever direction you need to pull that gradient. The sky would go, obviously, it would go down, and the water could go up or it could go from the insides. What that's going to do for your entire painting, Dale, is it's going to remove the excess paint. So that way, when you do have to put the next few layers, like this background, let's call it tree and bush layer on the midground, or these gigantic trees up here, or this little inlet, or these bushes here, it's going to have a 10x easier time actually sticking to the canvas. You need to spend more time blending your colors in and removing the excess paint. If you are struggling with tapping in some colors, which it looks like you are because I can see a little bit of mud mixing here, hey, don't be afraid to take a blue shop towel, and if you know you're going to put something around this plane right here, scrub this entire section off. The remaining pigment will stain the canvas right around here, leaving, blocking of colors. And then you can refine it with what you're going to tap in with your paintbrush going forward. You can do that for every section within your painting. You can grind off this section here with the blue shop towel, then go in and start tapping in the colors that you want because it'll have more toothing to grab onto. Then you can blend it out with a 2-inch or 1-inch brush, so that way when you put on the next layer down here, it'll have an easier time sticking. The best tip and advice I can give you, Dale, is make sure you spend more time blending in your colors, removing the excess paint, so that way when you do apply your next few layers of things that are going to be very difficult to apply with these thicker highlights and details, it'll have a way easier time blending. All right. And just to let you know, it took me a long time to realize that's one of the biggest things you can do in your painting to improve your landscape paintings. But I do want to say I love the balance and blending between the purples, the greens, the browns, oranges, and the deep reds. They look beautiful. So thanks for sharing. If you haven't already, could you please just follow me on my Instagram? First of all, it makes me feel good. Second, you get to see my cool adventures and my art. And third, it makes me feel good. So go ahead and subscribe to my Instagram. Now on to the next artist. Next up, we have Florine Reynolds. She's a regular here, and I just love everything that got going on. First of all, love everything you got going on in your sky, and I just love this beautiful structure that stands out. Great job. The only advice I think I can really lend myself to really improve this painting is the background mountains here. The thing that throws me off is these mountains more or less have the same detail as this more foreground mountain, and they shouldn't. You should take less paint that you're putting on your highlight side and, kind of feather it out more. See how your shadow side here has barely any detail? Well, the front side should represent kind of the same thing a little bit, so it doesn't match what's going on here because it can be a little distracting to the eye, especially since this is a different color than our foreground mountain here, or our foreground-ish mountain rock structure. So I would go a little lighter on the snow and highlights and paint breaks that you got going on in the background. So that way it really pushes this element forward as a focal point and will look awesome. The only other advice I think I can give you is down here in this bottom left-hand corner, and I make this mistake all the time. When you're tapping in your base color of, let's just say, your sap green or any combination of a darker green, and you start putting your highlight color on top, you're creating rows, and we don't really want rows. We want to break this up because it just looks too, let's just say, artificial, if you will. Don't be afraid to tap up, down, left, and right and rotate your hand as you're putting these highlights in. And you know what? It's okay to leave gaps. Like if there was highlights here, you could leave a bigger gap here and then continue the highlights down here. That way, because maybe light isn't working its way around the structure, or perhaps these trees are blocking something. Have a little bit of fun with it. But I would say when you start tapping in highlights, only tap in just a couple. Stand back and then be like, oh, okay, my next section can be here, but I'm going to slant my paintbrush a little bit more this way. And then don't forget to leave contrast, which you did. And then maybe add some here, and then have a gap, and then leave some here and here. Really try to break up the row structure that you have going on. And like I said, that's one of the hardest things because I find myself making that mistake all the time. I do want to say I just love it when people do different mountain structures. I all the time just do basic almighty mountains. So it's nice to see something that's just broken up like an almighty crag and mesa and all these different things that are just poking out of the ground. Bravo. Hey, did you know that I also have a website? wildcreates.com. You can go on there and sign up on the email list. That email list will let you know very soon in the next month when I will start doing online and in-person classes and group sessions. So you can be the first to sign up. Go to wildcreates.com or just click on the link down in the video description. Now, on to our next wonderful artist. Next up, we have Kasper Peterson, and we have a monochromatic painting here of just black and white. We've got our clouds, our background mountain, nice little tree structures, and then rolling hills of different snow and tree structures going on. And I love something that's this simplistic. However, your biggest issue that you have is contrast. There's clearly not enough contrast going on in this painting. Everything looks more or less flat. If I was just to increase the contrast digitally here within Photoshop, things will start to stand out a lot more depending on what you wanted to have more saturated in the blacks or the whites. And we need to do that within your painting as well. Don't be afraid to have some darker blacks back here in the background and in the foreground to create all these different planes and structures. The only thing that makes a two-dimensional shape stand out is by creating the illusion of making it three-dimensional, and contrast really helps with that. So think about adding different layers of contrast in your background, on your mountains with your highlight side and then your shadow side, maybe adding a little bit of contrast on the base of your trees and your trunks as they fade out into different directions, or how the light is going to cascade down across and upon them. And don't forget, when you're flowing your snow, you did a little bit of it right here. Don't be afraid to have little black parts come up in here that are dirt that's shining through, or parts that have melted, or rocks that are kind of poking up and through. You do a really good job of it down here, so don't be afraid to include that up there. Contrast is going to be one of the best things that I think you can improve across this entire painting. And then the second thing would actually be the viewer perspective. Everything is more or less the same size and shape, if you will. Your mountains are the same size and thickness as your tree line down here, which is the same thickness as your rolling hill, which is the same thickness more or less of the trees, and then these hills, and then these trees down here. What would really help is if you break that up. You could make your mountains a little bit bigger, and then have your tree line go up higher in one part and then taper down in one part. You could have this tree line go high and taper down, so you create all these different planes. Then this massive tree set you have down here should actually just go up here all big and come down to create just a viewpoint that really directs our eye right around here. And that can be our focal point. The last tip I'm going to give you is don't be afraid to add vignettes in your corner to help pull the eye to the center of your painting or wherever you want to direct it. My biggest advice for this one, Kasper, is I love it so much I want you to paint it again and think about adding more contrast, the other tips I gave, plus that perspective you want to include. Gotta love saving the best for last. If you're a brand new artist out there that's finally ready to move on to start selling your art, whether it be friends, family, online, or brick and mortar, this workbook I created is a must-have. Goes over everything, how to price your art, how to make a profit so that way you don't go down into the black, how to finally promote yourself correctly, and all my awesome tips and tricks to close a sale. If you're thinking about selling art online, this is your Bible right here. Plus, it helps me out. Hey, I don't mind being a little shameless. Papa's got to make a little money too to make more videos for you all. So go down below in the video description and buy my workbook today. Next up, we have my main man, Rusty Marble, and we have a very unique perspective because I believe we're on a cliff kind of looking down into the valley of our landscape here. At least that's what I get from this particular vibe, but let's see how we can help. The very first thing I notice across the entire painting here, Rusty, you have way too much paint going on, bro. Way too much. We need to work a lot of this off. But let's get to that in just a moment because we'll work from the top going down. You have so much paint up here that your clouds kind of just stick out unnaturally to the eye and how it's going to dry. What I recommend is work off more of the paint as you come down through the entire canvas, like we said in our previous person that we were helping out. Work off the excess paint so you create this beautiful gradient that goes down. When you create that beautiful gradient that goes down, you're going to have less color here, which will make it easier for your mountains to stick on. Now, if these are the style of clouds that you want to have that are like these little godlight and trails and chemtrails and whatnot, that's fine. But if I may recommend, take a smaller fan brush or a dry and clean filbert or angled shader and start pulling on the back end a little bit wherever you think the wind is wisping through. And it'll break up a little bit of this cloud, making it look more natural that it's being pushed through the sky rather than kind of just staying out here like claw marks in the sky. It'll really help you a lot. Plus, it's an easy thing to do. Your mountain structures are too triangular or too pyramid for my tasting. I think they're good for a beginner, but you know, I would say less is more here. You could do one that kind of works up and across, then a bigger one, and then kind of tear it off and kind of work down and across. That'd be a lot easier for a brand new painter. The good news about your mount structure is you worked off the excess paint, because I can see the undertone of canvas right here, which means that this first layer of all these background trees and bushes that you put in stuck easily, which means for all these other layers, you were most likely on the struggle bus going through. So take what you learned from this painting part right here and apply it to the next layer. So when you tap in all of these little base colors and highlight colors for your trees and bushes, you need to take a shop towel and start working off this excess, and then take your 2-inch or 1-inch brush and then blend across, so that way you kind of create these little zones of mist, so that way when you apply your next layer on top, which would go somewhere right around here, you have an easier time sticking all your layers of paint on top of other layers. You entirely have just way too much paint. And how do I know? Because I've been here before, dude, and it's tough. Slow down, work the paint in, work off the excess paint, then start applying your next layers, and they'll have a lot easier time sticking on there, okay? In fact, that's the biggest tip I could give you. Slow down, work in your paint, then work off your paint by doing these long cross strokes. Also, don't be afraid to use that shop towel, like I said. Then when this is all kind of worked in and out of there, then you know what? You just come in here, come in here with your next round of paint and just start tapping in what you want. It'll be so much easier, especially for when you get to things like your tree here. This big old mighty tree that you're struggling with, if you know you're gonna put a tree here, hey bro, just wipe off all the excess paint that's behind here. Nobody's gonna see it. That pigment will stain in the canvas. Then you can just start tapping in with your fan brush, your tree structure here, and it'll have a way easier time sticking. That's the best advice I can give for this entire painting, is work off the excess paint so your highlights and everything else will have a way easier time sticking. But I do wanna say, I do love this perspective, looking down into this valley with this running waterfall going down into this lake and all of these luscious trees and bushes. Nice job, dude. Let's take a quick minute and look at some of our awesome honorable mentions. Our first honorable mention is, please help me with this name, RAGBRAI Creation, and he looks like he painted kind of like on this old tin can / candle holder here. I love people that kind of recreate and repurpose different surfaces to paint on. Love it. Then we've got one from James Sanford, and oh my lord, I love this ghost ship. The sails cascading through the winds and this misty fog as this nice little ship is just cutting through this wake is awesome. I don't know how to do ships, and I've never tried, and I don't know if I'll ever get around to it, but I love the passion and the creativity in that. Awesome, my man. Then we have Don Petey, who has a beautiful abstract painting with multiple different types of structures and elements in here. Looks like we got a little bit of cardboard that's plastered on here with different rocks and foundation plaster and all these different acrylic paints of different material saturations, and this beautiful face that's just cascading out and through it. This is awesome. I love seeing all the art, and don't forget, you too can submit your art in the community tab of my channel. You know what's cool about this next month coming up is the seasons are changing, so I hope that it inspires you to reflect that in your painting, which will be fun for when I do reviews in the upcoming month, which means don't forget to submit under the community tab. But first, you need to be a subscriber, and you know what's also gonna help? Checking out a couple of my other videos over to the side to really get your skills to the next level. You can check out my mildly above average face in those videos there, helping you on your creative journey. It's lunchtime for me, and I will catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, and of course, peace.